We are here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We're a news generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Thursday, March 20th here in Seoul. I'm Song Yujin, and welcome to a brand new episode of News Generation. Joining us today is Jessica Arirang.
Happy Thursday, everyone!
Happy Thursday! And Julian Kim.
Happy Thursday, almost Friday.
Happy Thursday, almost Friday. Now, both are here to speak on behalf of those in their 20s and 30s. As usual, we're going to start with our keyword news. Our keyword for this Thursday is global warming. The World Meteorological Organization's State of the Global Climate Report has confirmed that 2024 is the warmest year on record. According to the report, the global mean near-surface temperature last year was 1.55 degrees Celsius, higher than pre-industrial levels, which refers to the average from 1850 to 1900. Now, this marks the highest temperature recorded in the 175-year history of the dataset. The WMO says human-induced climate change reached new extremes in 2024 with clear indications that its effects are accelerating. So I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on these findings, and did you also feel that 2025 was the hottest year on record so far?
Yeah, so this is something that is very concerning and alarming for me, and I feel a lot of our generation feels the exact same way because we don't know how things are going to go 80 plus years from the future now. And it's not just in Korea too, but in countries all across the world. And for example, here specifically in Korea, it snowed literally this week.
Yeah.
So I'm not even from here, and I could tell that something was wrong with the weather here. But I just hope that governments all across the world can organize together and combat climate change together.
Right, because it seems that planet Earth is indeed in immense pain because we saw a heavy amount of snow falling here in Korea just a couple of days ago. So I also want to ask your take on this data and findings, Cheska.
I mean, I'm not a dramatic person, but I'm very, very concerned. And I know there has been some ongoing debates about whether global warming is actually happening or not. But I think we really need to stop debating because the climate is showing that something is seriously off. As Julian mentioned, it snowed a couple of days ago in March, in the middle of March. And this season, the winter has been weird and off. Also, it started really late and the winter snowed very, very late too.
It was cold and then warm and then cold and then warm.
Right, exactly. And then also, the fact that we had a record hot summer also shows that a lot of scientists and meteorologists are saying that we're only going to have two seasons.
Right.
A really hot summer and then a really cold winter. So I really hope that we can, act together and then try to resolve this because especially when it comes to climate change, I think we're all in the same boat. There's no way out of it.
Right. So a global all-out effort is definitely needed. And that was our keyword news for this Thursday. So we're now going to move on to our main discussion of the day. Thursday is when we shine the spotlight on the Korean wave and the global fascination with Korean culture. Take a look at the screen to find out more. As we jump forward into spring, Korea is getting ready for the festival season. With so many must-see spots and activities, if you had the chance to visit Korea soon, what will be at the top of your bucket list? Today, we'll help you map out the perfect itinerary by exploring the latest travel trends in Korea. So before we jump into the hottest travel trends today on NewsGen, we're first going to start with some travel talk with our panelists. So what's your go-to travel style, Cheska?
I really love spotting new places. So I try to walk around the lot like a local, and I love going around and discovering new things. I also love traveling alone, which is very unique, and it allows me great flexibility to go on adventures. And just to give you an example, when I tell this story, everybody kind of freaks out. But I actually, 7 years ago, I booked an entire pool villa and went to Bali alone for 5 days.
Isn't that kind of like the hot honeymoon spot?
So the guide who came to pick me up, because I didn't know how to get around, I hired a tour guide. He saw me and he said, "You crazy girl."
Really?
But I had a fabulous time.
Wow.
I went to all the spots that I wanted to go, because if you go to a landmark or if you go with someone, you have to go to like specific places. They tell you. But I said, I just want to walk around here. I want to see what's in here. So I think for me, my traveling style is go around and discover new things. But it's not that I avoid landmark, but I like trying to kind of immerse myself.
To the local experience.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my go-to style.
Interesting. What about you, Julian?
Well, I love traveling so much, but I'm definitely someone that prefers to travel in comfort. So for example, I am not really sure if I'm the biggest fan of traveling backpacking and staying in hostels, as I value having a lot of my things with me and privacy when I sleep. But besides that, I really do enjoy all sorts of traveling. Like, for example, I really enjoy cultural travel because I really want to try the local cuisine and try all the foods that I can not get when I'm like back in my own home state. But I also like exploring nature and city too. So as long as I get good food and a good night's sleep, I don't really know. Like, I'm open to everything.
Good food, good sleep, and you're happy.
Those are the most important things.
It is.
And what I kind of found out when I listened to your answers is that you guys both mentioned the term local, which is the reason why we're bringing this topic to the show today, because newly released data gives us an insight into the spending habits and preferences of tourists visiting Korea. So Cheska, please tell us the biggest takeaways from this data set.
Yes, so according to spending data from a prepay cards for foreigners and traveling in Korea called Wow Pass, here is the spending trend of tourists. So out of almost 1.5 million users, top spending categories were beauty cosmetics, clothes, mart, and then restaurant.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, so as Eugene reacted, I actually found this quite interesting because to me, because I traveled to enjoy cuisine and experiences, I thought that people would be preferring a little bit more of experience, but it shows how strong K-beauty is and the fact that people are actually spending money on commodities and purchasing things rather than experiences.
Wow for the Wow Pass.
Wow for the Wow Pass.
And Julian, what are some other key takeaways from this report?
Yeah, so we can see that the types of restaurants that tourists visit have also changed. So one particular spot is called Myeongdong Gyoja, which is a highly regarded for its kalguksu, also known as knife-cut noodles in English. And the kimchi that's served with the kalguksu and Myeongdong Gyoja is well known for being really, really spicy and pungent due to the high amounts of raw garlic. Yet many tourists find it pair well with the dish. And another popular restaurant is Tak Hanmari, which is a restaurant that serves a chicken whole, like a whole chicken in a rich broth. So it kind of tastes like chicken noodle soup. It has been a favorite amongst tourists with a noticeably high proportion of foreign customer payments being processed there too. And I bring up these dishes because they aren't necessarily what Koreans expect tourists will enjoy when they come to Korea. And for example, Tak Hanmari serves a traditional dish that many Koreans have enjoyed, especially since as they were a kid. So it surprises a lot of Koreans to know that people come all the way here to this country to enjoy this dish. But beyond well-known dishes like bulgogi and bibimbap, more tourists are actively seeking out flavors and dishes that they can't get back in their home countries.
Right. So as we can see in this report, one major trend is that travelers no longer just want to see Korea, they want to experience it like a local. So could you give us some more examples on some of the best unique hands-on experiences that are getting huge popularity among tourists?
Yes, of course. Since the pandemic, it is said that more tourists are actually looking for more customized experiences and more personal, such as going on cafe tours like myself or pop-up store tours like a Korean person on popular Seoul district like Yeonnam-dong or Seongsu-dong. Now, as we saw in the spending trend, K-beauty and K-experience is also really big. People are taking a lot of like K-pop dance classes. I see a lot of reels of people recording their dance challenges. People get like makeup like a K-pop idol. They get hairstyles.
And personal color testing, right?
Yeah, that's also really big too. And I actually have a lot of friends, and this is a personal experience too. People would come and then they would ask me, hey, where's the best place to get skin treatment?
Oh.
That is becoming really big too. And apparently, this is something really new. One of the up-and-coming experience is strawberry picking.
Strawberry picking.
Yeah.
I've done that when I was like 7 years old with my parents.
Oh, really?
I really recommend it. It's so fun.
Well, Eugene recommends it, so whoever's watching should definitely try it. So Julian and I actually had this really cute conversation about how sweet and delicious Korean strawberries are.
Yeah, they are.
Unlike the ones from the States that we tried before when we were growing up. So I think it's becoming a very popular experience among tourists because they know how delicious our Korean strawberries are. So from Jan to May is the season, so people can visit the farm, pick berries, make jam, even cake and ice cream.
Wow, so you can make all these desserts from the strawberries you picked.
Apparently so. I think it's very exciting.
That didn't happen when I picked the strawberries when I was 7, so big advancement.
There's a huge, huge gap there that you're missing out on.
Sounds so fun. I should try it again.
I think we should go. Yeah.
And it's Korean strawberries too, so it would taste
Yeah,
really good.
they are really, really sweet, guys. And so Cheska kind of talked about strawberry picking, about food experiences. I think you can give us some other recommendations as well, Julian.
Yeah, so I was honestly really surprised to learn this, but many tourists enjoy renting bicycles at using Seoul's public bicycle system and taking a bike tour across the Han River Park. Many locals are actually really fond of the Han River Park, so tourists enjoy spending some time there, enjoying the views of the river, and even having picnics, enjoying dishes like ramyeon and chicken and beer too. So if you're interested in renting a bicycle, all you need to do is search for Seoul Public Bicycle, and the service is available in multiple languages to choose, so it should be like very easy for many tourists coming to the country. And I personally never rented a bike, but from what I've heard, it's very affordable, super fun, and a great way to enjoy one of Seoul's beloved spots.
I see. And this bicycle service is called 따릉이, so please keep this in mind. And it's great if you just ride the bicycle when the sun sets along the Hangang River Park. So definitely try that out.
And
Especially now, yeah.
Yes, you mentioned it's under $1. It's really cheap.
Right, very affordable.
It's everywhere. It's very easy to use. Also, it's a very safe bike. So I think everyone should take advantage of it.
Definitely. So now to hear more perspectives, we also asked our viewers what local experiences they would love to try when visiting Korea. And here's what 3 of them had to say. Our first comment for this Thursday is by Rex Alice Mastodon. I would like to visit a 찜질방, get a body scrub at a Korean rice spa, wear a hanbok, try out different regional cuisines around the country, and experience a temple stay. Wow! Ramsey Bryan's 861, whenever I visit Korea, 노래방 is a must-do activity for me. Singing my heart out with my favorite K-pop and K-drama OST completes my Korea trip experience. Our final comment is by Sunshine Dessert IV73. I'd love to visit an authentic local Korean restaurant and have a Korean choose my meal. I also enjoy observing people and hearing them talk passionately about their country. It tells me a lot about their culture and pride. Some very great recommendations from our viewers as well. And coming up next, we'll be joined by a millennial travel blogger from Thailand who has first-hand experience of Korea's local culture. Stay tuned.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search our channel Arirang.News. Click Community and leave a comment down below. Make a new type of news with us.
And today we're pleased to be joined by Polyglot Petra, a travel blogger from Thailand. Welcome, Petra, to the show.
Hi, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
So, Petra, we first want to ask you, what kinds of local activities did you try in Korea and what inspired you to take part in them?
So I visited Korea a total of 16 times at this point. So I've tried almost everything available. But since I became a blogger 3 years ago, I've been focusing more on finding hidden gems and cultural experiences because I wanted to provide deeper content for my readers. Yeah, and inspiration is kind of simple. I feel like every time we go to a new country and we see, I don't know, a building, a temple or something like that, it feels exciting for us, but I realize that it means something completely different to the locals. So I just wanted to focus more on trying to find the context behind the places I visit. Yeah, just to make it more interesting.
I love your mindset behind exploring these places, and thank you for coming to Korea 16 times. It's amazing.
Right.
Do you feel these experiences helped you gain a deeper understanding of Korean culture?
Yes, absolutely. Most of the things that I've done had a lot to do with culture and history of Korea. Like, I went back to the National Museum just to learn more about the history, probably 4 or 5 times. And like, I spent hours at a time. And I also remember really enjoying this one food tour that I took at Gwangjang Market, and just learning more about how to eat certain dishes. Because I feel, even though I grew up understanding quite a bit about Korean culture from game shows and dramas and such, it's so intricate that every time I go to Seoul, I feel like there's something else that I didn't know before and having to learn more about them. So yeah, absolutely, every single time.
Great. So finishing off, do you have any tips or must-do recommendations for those looking to enjoy a more hands-on tourism?
Yeah, I would say visiting a museum can help a lot. Putting some context behind the places that you visit will actually sustain your interest and your passion for a place for a long time, I don't think I would have been into South Korea for this long if it was not for the stories behind the places and the culture and I don't know, connection with the local people. Because novelty gets old, even though it's really exciting at first. And I would say the most important tip that I have is to have an open mind and be patient because the more deeply you travel, the more likely you're going to run into obstacles like language barriers, culture shocks, or I don't know, you missed your train or you miss your flight or things like that. Because like when those things happen, it doesn't matter how loudly you scream, those problems are not going to go away, but now everyone is upset too. So I would say take a deep breath, take what you can learn from those obstacles, and just move on.
Wow.
Definitely. All right, Petra, thank you so much for sharing your insights today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
Right, so ending off our episode today, for anyone who is planning a trip who's watching to Korea, let's talk about some must-try activities and must-visit spots. So what are your top recommendations?
Yes, Eugene, before I give recommendations, I just want to add on to what Petra said because I think her last piece of wisdom was so beautiful.
Yeah, I know.
Because she was talking about like when you miss a plane or when you miss a flight, no matter how loud you scream, it doesn't solve problems. But because we all love traveling, I think we've had those experiences when we go to these foreign countries where the culture is completely different and you came in with this big expectation and everything just goes wrong and you get upset. So my recommendation would be when you come to Korea, especially if you're a foreigner, there might be a lot of things that you just don't understand or maybe you struggle with. Maybe some people might be unkind to you or you might not order the right food. But I really want you to come in with an open heart and open mind because there are people like us who are ready to welcome these people. And in terms of the recommendations, I would personally recommend hiking.
Oh, hiking.
Yes.
We talked about this on Newsden before,
Exactly, yeah. And I'm a big hiker and the weather's clearing up. Hopefully no more snow.
Right, hopefully.
And as of now, knock on wood, Korea still has 4 seasons. So we have some beautiful scenery.
Especially during the spring and fall, right?
Exactly, yeah. So I would highly recommend people to go hiking because not only do you get to see nature, but you also get to immerse yourself a little bit and, you know, think about your life a little bit too. And Korea also has some really good restaurants near the mountain.
Right,
so you can go and enjoy some Korean cuisine as well.
Definitely. Very good recommendations, Francesca. So put down hiking on your list too. What do you suggest, Julian?
Yeah, so I grew up in California, so I went to the beach and went out in nature frequently, so I'm very, very fond of the outdoors and water specifically. Now, Seoul isn't located near any beaches, but like how I mentioned earlier, the Hangang River Park is, in my opinion, a must visit in Seoul. I love the views. I just love how ramen tastes even better there. It's true, it really does taste better. And chicken and beer too. And it's a really scenic place just to sit, enjoy the view, and decompress a little, especially if you're traveling, you've been walking around all day, you want to just have a moment just to sit down, relax. I really recommend this spot. And another place I recommend is also the Cheonggyecheon Creek. It's a really nice oasis built in the middle of the city that used to actually be a sewage line for the city. And so like back in the 1950s, it used to be a really polluted, smelly place. But now it's
completely different.
Yes, now it's really, really nice. It's been rebuilt to have clean water, fish, birds, and spots to enjoy and like have a little nature while being in the middle of a bunch of skyscrapers. And the last place that I want to introduce is Namsan. Now you can go up via stairs or the iconic cable cars, and you can go see the most breathtaking views of the city. So just like how Cheska mentioned, we both mentioned a lot of like places that you can experience all of nature in the city. And even though there's a lot of shopping and like big buildings to explore, Seoul also has some really nice naturescapes to explore. So we both really highly recommend checking those out.
Wow, some amazing recommendations. I should try that out myself first.
Yeah. What about you, usually? If you were to give recommendations, what is one place that you would highly recommend tourists
That
to
is
go?
really, really hard.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't really think of one right now, but if I can, I think I'm with Julian when it comes to Hangang River Park because I really love riding the bike when the sun sets. Yeah, it's just amazing if you have your earphones on. So Hangang River Park, and I also recommend if you are into shopping, COEX, The very big mall in the south of Seoul is also very worth recommending. I like to just roam around for hours because there's so much to watch. So once again, as Jessica and Julian both mentioned, you can get a part of the city life and also a part of the nature life if you visit Seoul. And there are so many beautiful places outside of Seoul in Korea as well. So if you have the chance, please visit Korea this time of the year around. And that's all we have for this episode of News Generation, but we will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time. Special thanks to Jessica Dainha.
Pleasure's always mine. Thank you.
Thank you. And Julian Kim.
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you. And to our viewers, thank you for your time. And don't forget to join us tomorrow morning as well. We are
News Generation.